civilmedia.mk. Slobodno, nezavisno, otvoreno.
The hate speech is very actually happening on the Balkans, like the previous session. Several speakers mentioned the Balkan and the countries in the Balkan region who are more fragile to this fake news and this hate speech who affect everyone, affect the society, affect the human rights approach, but also make our democracy fragile. Because we see on the era of the fake news, on the era of the hate speech, you see how the principles of human rights being put outside. As you mentioned, my personal case, but the groups that I'm focus of protection, it's a perfect example. It's basically a case study that we can speak. I can work in the university or the professors to do a research. I will just mention a very interesting moment about the refugee crisis and the migration issue. In 2015, when the Macedonia was part of this huge wave, like so-called the Balkan Route, 2 refugee camps were made on our land, one on the border with Greece, one border with Serbia, and we had previously 2 refugee camps, asylum center and center for foreigners. So that was 2015, when it was the previous government on power. So millions of refugees and migrants cross our Balkan route. We changed the law, which make more respectful for the human rights and dignity of the refugees and migrants. But in 2017, when the same political party was in opposition, it started a huge campaign with hate speech and fake news against the refugees and migrants, saying that if this government on the local election win, it will build refugee camps on
5 million
refugees
were mentioned that would come to Macedonia.
We would be the largest community in the earth that has a place for the refugees and migrants. What was this case? And we were trying, like you said, was the solution for the fake news. We think it's a counter-argument. Countering the arguments is the solution. But what happened in 2017? We felt speechless. We thought that we are in some hall and we speak like, no, the camps are finished. It was built in 2015. That government at that time built this refugee camp, so it's finished, but nobody wanted to listen. It was a huge campaign. It was not only on the social media. It was collecting signatures on the street. It was making, in one session in the assembly of the Macedonian, when the people there are paid from our money, 87 times was mentioned the word migrant in one session. So it was not only fake news or on the social media, like you mentioned the tool. It was huge, organized, massive propaganda against the refugees and migrants. So what that meant? It meant the dehumanization of the refugees and migrants. So after the local election 2017, everything went down forward. So for us to raise empathy toward refugees and migrants now, it's very hard, because everybody sees them as they will come, they will invent our country, they will build. So every new building that is built in our country, it's taken by the political parties and said, this will be the new refugee camp, this is migration camp, this is etc. So they are preventing normal functioning. So what is happening? We have Center for Foreigners. In all the European Commission reports, it's mentioned that we have to have better conditions in the Center for Foreigners. It means foreigners, like everyone, not Macedonian citizen, it's a foreigner. But it's preventing to do so, to build new building, because this one is in very crowded municipality, Chai, and very crowded area. It calls Gazibaba, so you cannot pass. So it should be built outside the city, but it's prevented because even this political government, it's a political. So they are scared about how the influence and this hate speech, and so they are preventing this building a new place. It will be more humane and more better for the foreigners who will be in this detention center, because they are afraid of the narrative that you will build a camp, they will build camp. So now we have a very huge effect of the human rights of the refugees, but also for us as a civil society, it affects the empathy and solidarity. So if you want to do the hate speech toward one group, you have to first dehumanize them. So when you remove the human aspect of them, you treat them as a group, as a collective movement, they will enter your country, then it's very easy to attack them with hate speech. So also me being vocal on this area of the hate speech toward refugees, but also the Islamophobia which is rising on the Balkan, which is very interesting to have Islamophobia today in 21st century when we are here as the Balkan, as such a diverse place with many ethnicity works, lives and function. We have mosque for 6 centuries in Macedonia. To have rising of Islamophobia now, when you have in New Zealand the terrorist attack of the Christian church community place, then you become more scared because the attack that happens on me are several characteristics. It's because of my vocal speaking about the refugees and migrants, because my visible representation of the faith. They also attacks because of my gender. I was attacked because women with headscarf cannot be politically active. Then I was attacked of my ethnicity. When there was a Srebrenica, because I'm Bosniak nationality, there was some political party who said, if you attack me because of me, do you want again to happen Srebrenica? So he used this in month when we really feel, I don't know, some emotionally moved. So yes, I started several initiatives. I went to the public prosecution, I went to the Ministry for Interior, I also have my personal lawsuit against some not social media, but basically newspapers. Only until several cases that I mentioned, I have only one finished. It's my personal lawsuit against 2 publishing houses that they do they apologize at the court, but still the sentence.
It was the case for slander and libel,
yes,
I guess.
It was the case of when I was attacked that I'm anti-Semite. So the editor of the newspaper said that he deliberately said for me that I'm anti-Semitic and start this whole campaign for anti-Semitism. Also, I'm a trainer for anti-Semitism, so I really know how and what is the anti-Semitism. So he apologized, and I'm expecting the verdict to have it in my hands so that I can publicly announce. But that is not only this newspaper, but also one political party which has a lot of followers, organized several press conferences against me. What's that important? Because I'm a member of civil society. So if a political member, if somebody member of the assembly attack a member of the civil society, that is a very huge attack, because they also send a message and make you fragile, and you are scared to go outside because 300, I don't know how much followers this the highest political opposition in our country has. So the fake news and hate speech personally affect you, send you some message that you have to be quiet. You are scared to enter in the social media. You're scared to write your own opinion on the social media because you're afraid that they will use it, misuse it, and they will attack you because of your freedom of speech. And I'm civil society member. I work in the private sector, so I'm not a governmental institution. I'm not politician. So that is very important and something that happens maybe 6 years for me now. When I start the procedure through the governmental bodies, to the ministry, because it's a criminal code. It's an article in the criminal code, so I cannot do my personal. I cannot.
They have to do it ex
civil.
officio.
Yes, it have to go through the criminal code and criminal court. I wanted to say publicly to the people: don't try this. Because it's very hard, it's very painful to go to the public prosecutor office, to have at your home coming police officer bringing you invitation to come to their office. You know, for us as a family, this was very disturbing to have police big car coming, and they say, you're Mersiha, you are invited tomorrow to police station, and you are the victim in all these places. You go to the public prosecution office, and they were not trained how to deal with the victims, and she was attacking me. And at the end of my interview, she told me like, "Come on, Mersiha, leave social media behind. You have kids. Take care of your kids. Take care of your home. Be a housewife." like that. She said to me literally. And that past 1 year and a half, nothing happened. So I was in the public prosecutor office. I went to the Ministry for Interior. So nothing happens. Even the attacker who did a personal attack on me by name and surname, by my ethnicity, my religion, my pointing my family, he still has his Facebook page, Facebook profile. He still received salary from our budget that we give, and he's not even, any process hasn't started against him. And yesterday he also again had this hate speech, this rhetoric of Islamophobia, xenophobia on his social media, and you report to the Ministry of Interior and nothing happens. Nothing happens. So the institution has the biggest point of them to show them that they have to do more. Also, we as a civil society, we do more with empathy, with solidarity, with countering argument, but the institutions are very silent in Macedonia when we speak about hate speech and fake news. This is very disturbing to know.
civilmedia.mk. Slobodno, nezavisno, otvoreno.